Welcome to Simonsen Says. This is the 4th episode, and we were the most watched episode on the More Network. So thank you, everyone, for making this happen. And let's get into the market, because it has been a crazy month. Charlie?
So the market's been strong overall throughout the month of February, but how has the luxury market been specifically?
The luxury market is on fire this month, and in fact, there have been more contracts signed over $4 million than there has in the last 3 years.
And what types of luxury properties are trading right now?
You know, people are I would call it, they'll pay up for triple mint. People are definitely shying away from doing work, and new developments are on fire. We also saw a house trade for over $50 million that had actually been on the market for a few years, but now has traded at over $50 million.
In terms of the triple mint listings that you've seen, have you noticed any listings that specifically stood out that entered contract in the last month?
25 Bond, that was a gorgeous apartment, which we actually previewed for a client. It had been originally, it actually was only on the market for, I think, less than 2 weeks, and it's gone into contract for over $30 million. It's a gorgeous apartment.
How do you see...
Oh, by the way, the buyer paid $25 million and then did a renovation.
Okay, so people really will overpay for that.
Absolutely.
Triple mint product.
Right.
What do you see as we enter the spring market? Any trends or anything to be on the lookout for? Absolutely.
I think especially with spring, something, again, people will pay a premium for is outdoor space. Everybody wants outdoor space, and if you have, even, doesn't need to be large, a terrace or something, you know, even if it's a couple hundred square feet, people are definitely going to pay up. And what do you think is the best listing on the market with private outdoor space right now? Great question, and I know exactly. It's our exclusive at 936 Fifth. It's the largest terrace right now on the market facing Central Park, and it's absolutely stunning. So if anyone's interested, please DM me or Charlie. All right, so on to the interview. Okay, thank you, Charlie. We're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to be coming back with an incredible guest, Eboni K. Williams.
This beautiful set here at Studio 1873 is brought to you by the Everset. The Everset provides full-service staging and furniture rental solutions in the New York area. We work with Brown Harris Stevens and many other top real estate firms, staging their homes to sell quickly and at the highest price possible. Our staging is affordable without sacrificing quality or design. For more information, please visit us at staging.theeverset.com or email us at staging@theeverset.com to request a free proposal.
Welcome back, everybody, and here I am with my incredible guest and friend, Eboni K. Williams, who is a TV personality and now has a great and very interesting, informative show, Equal Justice. So welcome, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. I'm so excited.
So happy to have you here. So let's start with, first of all, where are you living now?
Oh, yes. I live and own in Harlem, USA, Harlem, Upper Manhattan, and I absolutely love it.
Well, I've actually sold a lot in Harlem, and I love it as well. I know you had lived downtown before. So what actually, how did you end up, there's so many wonderful neighborhoods in New York. Yeah. What brought you to Harlem?
Well, Lisa, I'm a daughter of the South, right? So growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, being born down in Louisiana, before I ever got the privilege to venture to New York myself, I read about New York in books. So a lot of Harlem Renaissance features Langston Hughes and James Baldwin and all the greats. And so I was already in love with Harlem, frankly, Lisa, before I arrived. So it was always going to be Harlem for me once I moved to the city. Which,
that's great.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years now.
Wow. So you already had an idea. You had been researching.
I had a love affair. Yeah.
You had a love affair. I love that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so how is your new, it's not, when did you buy your apartment? Like 2 years ago?
About 3 years ago. This summer's 3 years, which is insane because how quickly I remember talking to you about my whole process.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's, I'm still in love. I'm still in love with the neighborhood, and it's growing and changing, as you know, rapidly. Right. But it's still very much a residential community vibe, which is what I love so much about it.
Well, something which is great for people that have invested in Harlem and the neighborhood is that the returns on investment are, over the last 2 decades have sort of spoken for them. It's proven itself. So I know you, of course, now have your gorgeous new daughter. Not new daughter. I mean, how old
Yeah,
is
she's.
Liberty?
I think
Liberty. She's
she's
still
new to me, Lisa.
Yeah.
You know, she's 6 months old, baby Liberty, and she's fabulous. And actually, raising her in Harlem has been important to me.
Oh, now what do you tell us about that?
You know, being women of color and her again understanding the tapestry and the history. Looking like literally right outside of our window is a statue of Harriet Tubman. Where else hardly in the world are you going to get something like that?
So I'm just curious from a real estate point of view, because you know children have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And you know the space can start to close
Gets tight.
in. Is there? Do you see that? You know, are you thinking that over the next period of time there may be another purchase?
Yeah, we're in the midst of that as we speak.
Oh,
but
you are.
again, I still am so in love with Harlem. I still want to be close. So if not,
Okay.
you know, kind of right now where I am, you know, Central and kind of West Harlem, maybe Morningside Heights, something
Love
with
Morningside.
just yeah.
It's so charming, and
It
all the cobblestone.
is, and you're right there.
Cobblestone, yeah, it's beautiful.
Right by Columbia University,
Yeah,
which I
it's-
think also is nice for children
Yeah.
to be in the midst of
park.
that academia. It's so green. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're thinking that
You're thinking.
in a year or two.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. So there's so much to talk about today. Let's sort of delve into reality TV.
Yes.
Because obviously people know you
Mm-hmm.
or associate you with the New York Housewives, and that's, you know, such a, you know, iconic brand.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your experience and how, you know, you know, it's a big subject, but I'd love to
Yeah.
hear, you know, tell us your experience of being a New York housewife.
Listen, big breath, right? It was a hell of an experience, Lisa. What I will say is it's one I don't regret. I think it brought a lot of net positives to my world, specifically the visibility, right? That's the one thing that no matter what your position is on reality television, you cannot deny the amplification, the elevation.
Absolutely.
It just speaks for itself, like you said.
It speaks for itself, for sure.
Now, you know, the things we don't get to control in that world
Right.
are the production and the edit and even our cast members. These are ensemble projects for the most part. So you do what you do and castmates do what they do. But even in the midst of that, Lisa, I think that I was, here's what I would say too, is I went in with a very clear strategy and I had a clear focus,
Right.
which was I had a pre-existing career, first as a lawyer and then as a journalist
I
and
think-
television and all of that.
But that's already, you know, a differential sometimes for certain people. You arrived with, you know, as a very successful woman. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I
Says
mean-
a very successful woman. But no, I appreciate it. I take
Right.
that very seriously, quite frankly, right? Because here's the thing about TV: it amplifies, but it amplifies what's already there.
Right.
So I don't believe,
Exaggerates.
I don't
Exaggerates.
believe that one can go into the television, reality television space and become as
Right.
much as you become more of what you already were.
Right. That's
So
interesting.
yeah, as somebody who had already enjoyed being on cable news and this and that and talk radio, the Real Housewives of New York of it all just amplified that I'm already a opinionated, studied.
You're not
Me?
opinionated.
I know. Have you met this
No,
woman?
I've never. Yeah,
But yeah,
I think that.
opinionated, studied, thorough,
Thorough, for sure.
credible.
Yes, exactly.
Take no, you know what. You know, those were things that existed, and Housewives just amplified it.
So did you feel when you were entering into the world as slightly unknown that the rewards would outweigh the risk?
Well, I want to say that I knew there would be risk. So I didn't have any delusions that this would be all smooth sailing,
Right.
just because I'd been in the industry.
Right.
And really, even as a practicing lawyer, Lisa, even as, you know, a high-level real estate professional, what is smooth sailing always?
Right.
So I think, you know, that was baked into the cake that there would be challenge.
Right.
I trusted myself to arrive and survive, and I did.
And so what would you say would be the, I mean, I know for myself, when I had the opportunity, in fact, I had the opportunity to do $1 Million Listing 13 years ago, and I didn't do it at that point because it was just the very beginning of reality TV, and I had a very successful career, and I didn't know,
Yes.
as no one knew, anything about reality TV. Maybe in hindsight, it would have been it wouldn't have, you know, hurt. But I do think that there's a lot to look at when you're making that decision. And when I made the decision to actually sort of almost, you know, move to California and get my license to do the show that I was offered, I felt that the rewards would outweigh the risks
Yes.
because I was going to be me.
Yep.
I stayed true to being me. I was a mentor. I gave advice, and it was really, I was being filmed, but I really was staying true to myself. And I think that goes back to your point.
I loved watching
right?
you on it, and I recognized the woman that I saw on the show.
Right.
That was the Lisa that I have a glass of wine with. That's the same Lisa that sometimes you're generous enough to share with me your perspective on the market. Like, it wasn't a character.
Right.
It was you amplified.
Right.
And I think it was highly advantageous for you to do it in all the ways that I thought were advantageous for me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so what have you seen? What were the obvious rewards?
The benefits?
Right. the
Sure.
benefits.
To this day, I haven't been on an episode of Real Housewives in New York, Lisa, for almost 5 years since new episodes aired.
Right.
Which is insane, by the way.
No, I can't believe that.
Yeah, because we were shooting in peak pandemic in 2020. It's crazy. It's crazy.
crazy.
And to this day, I can't go to an airport. I can't, be in, a big public space and someone not only recognize me, but normally it's a woman.
Right.
But sometimes some nice gentlemen too, and be just so appreciative of,
That's
it
wonderful.
was so fun watching you, or you taught me something,
Right.
or you made me. I didn't know that I always agreed with you, but you made me think about something,
Yeah.
and that's highly advantageous.
That makes it worth,
Yeah.
So another, just to finish off on that, have you watched the latest episode?
I have not watched. I didn't even finish my season. Let me tell you a secret, Lisa. I never even finished watching my own season.
Why is that?
Child, after the Black Shabbat episodes, it just got too much, and I couldn't even finish. But mazel. Yeah.
Mazel. So you, okay. So you have not watched the latest?
No, I have not. But I'm friendly with some of the ladies, and I, only wish them the best because the platform is very powerful.
So if they come back and ask you, would you consider?
There's always a conversation. I would say my first answer is things are going really well right now, right? Judge Eboni's doing great. My podcast, Holding Court, won an NAACP Image Award
That's
last year.
fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
so
exciting.
I
Wow.
kind of feel like Housewives did everything it was supposed to do for me,
Right.
everything it could do for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what more it would offer.
Right.
I know what I could give it, but
Right.
I don't know what it could do for me at this point.
Yeah, well, it's interesting just for me when I did the show because I think a lot of the spots that I get now as a regular, whether it's
Yes.
the Today Show, Fox, I'm being called a lot as an expert, and I think that was part of what I got out of being on the show. It does make a difference, and you do become, I am seen as more of an expert because of that, and your street cred, if you stay on point,
Yes.
definitely having more optics is a good thing.
But that's what it is, Lisa. It's not the being on the show. It's who are you on the show.
Right.
See, again, because I've seen, there's a lot of real estate reality TV shows.
What do you think of those, by the way, just quickly? Are
I
you
think-
watching any of them?
Yeah,
or-
yeah. I watched Owning Manhattan with Sirhan. I watched $1 Million Listing, the West Coast and New York versions, and then some are just not appealing. And you know what? There are big distinguishing points between who's the winners and who's for play.
Right.
You can tell who's there to be on TV and who's there to amplify their game
Right.
in the business.
Right.
And it's night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think some of the things that are not necessarily positive, and I've seen this happen even with people when I'm recruiting for the team, that people watch the shows and have, they really do think they're going to get their license and within a few months be earning millions of dollars and just have to show up and, look
Look cute.
Look cute.
Well, we know a little something about looking cute, Lisa. Yeah.
So let's see. I mean, it's very interesting thinking of all of the pros and cons.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your new show because it's, talk about hot topics. I don't even want to get into some of the topics because we would definitely be here all day, but, well, I sort of do actually. Oh, can we? Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
let's.
So I am P. Diddy.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
do it. Yeah. So listen, Puff's case,
We're
Sean
going
Combs.
away from real estate.
Yeah.
Well, P. Diddy, he has great real estate.
I was going to say, that's quite a portfolio.
And
honey.
I'm totally available in case.
Just in case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I have my Florida license, so.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
we never know,
I can- yeah.
what these juries will do. So, yeah, it's got every issue. I mean, it's Hollywood, it's celebrity, the defense has brought racial elements into it. It's it's an era, I mean, many of us grew up, I mean, generationally on the sound of what Bad Boy. And speaking of, he's a son of Harlem. Let's full circle.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He's born born Harlem bred.
Wow.
So for me, as a lawyer first, because that was my original credential in the world as a criminal defense lawyer, I actually always come from this place of asking questions, right? We still live in America. We still are innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
So that's what I'm here for.
Right.
My show is all about taking it fact by fact, combing through them, asking interesting, provocative questions, and then making sure that my listeners and my viewers can understand this stuff from the ground level.
Right.
And so as they're seeing the headlines and seeing, the trial proceed and jury selection and eventually a verdict, they do it with greater understanding and appreciation for this process. That's my goal.
So is he going to be able to get a fair trial?
Well, who's to say, right? I mean, how are we defining fair? I think when you are someone as famous as Sean Combs,
Right.
that there is no juror
Is that
anywhere.
his name? I've heard like about 6 different names.
Yeah, that's his government name.
I call him Puffy.
Puffy,
Am I
Diddy.
like outdated? Okay.
No,
Just
Puffy,
checking.
Diddy,
Okay.
P. Diddy, Sean Combs. He calls himself Love. Who knows?
Okay.
But when you're as famous as that man,
Right.
right? There's no such thing as, I think, a truly objective juror.
Right.
That's the issue,
Yeah.
right? Normally, if it's, Joe Schmo on the street, they can be seen in
Right.
that courtroom context only, and I think we think of that as fair. Every element comes into play when it comes to Puff, and
Right.
so he'll have a trial. I think it will be as fair as the judge can
Right.
afford, and then we'll see what happens.
And 2 more questions, and then I have still some other topics for us. Should he have gotten off on bail?
No, I do not think bail would have been appropriate for him, and it's not because of the flight risk, because I
Okay.
believe that he did make every avail. He turned it, was willing to turn in his passports, his mama's passport, his kids' passports.
Right.
I don't believe that he would have necessarily jumped bail,
Okay.
but I do believe he potentially caused a continual threat to society. And I want to say that I think some other people who got bail, maybe some of the Harvey Weinsteins of the world, should not have gotten bail
Right.
because they were as powerful, and they also potentially could have caused problems while out on bail before trial.
And my last question on this topic, what is the verdict going to be?
Well, let me look into my crystal ball, Lisa. Listen, it's a tough road for Mr. Combs and his defense team, so much so that one of his defense lawyers just made a motion to withdraw as of this week.
Oh, wow.
And yeah,
Okay.
so when you're seeing that 60 days out of a trial date in May,
Right.
that's alarming. That
Right.
says that the prosecution, and also, let's remember, this is the federal government.
Right.
When the feds come for you, they have a 98% conviction rate for a reason.
Right, I've heard that.
So, but it's not to say that it's impossible for there
Right.
to be an acquittal, and maybe an acquittal of some, if not all of the charges. So listen, I'm waiting with bated breath, as you can tell. I'm like a little law school geek. I'm very excited to see it play out in this capacity.
Well, I'm very, your show's incredible, and for anyone
Thank
that's not
you.
watching, they should definitely tune
Thank
in.
you. Thank you.
So, I love having someone like yourself on who's sort of doing it all. And tell me about how has that been now, having this beautiful daughter, Liberty? How has that affected your
Yeah.
career? How are you managing to juggle all of? I'd like to just tell us a little bit about that.
It's been wonderful, Lisa, but I want to say something that maybe is, taboo, which is my entire life hasn't changed.
Your entire life.
Has not changed. And I was at an event.
That
with,
is, you might get a few.
I know.
comments about that.
And you even were like, what'd you say? Did I hear you right?
right.
Did I hear you right?
Exactly.
You heard me right. My entire life has not changed.
Okay, so tell us what you mean.
Right, say more.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things is I waited until the nice, ripe age of 40 to have my daughter. And I'm very blessed that I had a healthy journey. But I think what that afforded me, Lisa, was I was really clear about who I was and am as a woman before the motherhood identity piece added to my smorgasbord of life and experience. I do know some young women who enter motherhood younger, and they are also of this same ilk. But I think for me, I needed to be at least this old. I needed to have lived this much. I feel for the first time that I'm even worthy of showing her anything that I'm worthy of teaching her anything, that I have the capacity to protect and provide for her in the way that she deserves. And also, I'm still me. Like,
Right.
you're going to recognize your friend
Right.
as the same, hopefully, funny and endearing and caring and passionate woman that I was before Liberty. I just hope you see more of it. I think she's an amplifier.
She's enriched what was
Yeah.
already there, and it wasn't something that made you whole. You were whole,
Yeah.
but she's enriched.
What was already
Right.
on. Yeah, I don't feel like for the first time in my life I have purpose. God bless the women and men that feel that way. That's not my experience. I was very clear in that stuff before,
Right.
and she's just raised the stakes.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's. I think I feel like I have to confess because before having children, but I sometimes when I see people that have all these different pictures of baby standing, sitting, like 100 pictures of one, and I actually never did that. However, this is, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I
love
now have a dog, and
Oh.
I've turned into that person.
Oh, with the
just a little
dog.
confession
Oh,
with the
I
kid.
love
Yeah,
it.
it's just
So
like
it-
I'm, yeah,
it
exactly.
got
So
you
I
in
don't
the
know
end,
what that,
Lisa.
I don't
Yeah.
know why I'm telling you that,
That's
but anyway.
so funny.
Yeah.
What breed did you get? I'm curious.
Cockapoo,
Of
Winnie.
course you did.
Yeah, so I
Such
got
a
it.
sophisticated dog. Such
Yeah,
a
he's,
sophisticated woman.
He's definitely the apple of my eye right now. So, what do you look for if you're hiring a broker? So, what are the things, what are
Yeah.
why would you use me as a broker?
Well, I would use you, Lisa, because you're very beautiful, and I'm totally biased. It's very
I like-
important. I'm being very straight
Okay.
up. Because buying a home is very much about the aesthetic
Right.
of the home. And I'm not going to pretend that aesthetics don't matter. Is this bad to say? I'm sorry. It's true. And so I trust someone that is so competent in her own presentation. He or she, by the way. In your case, you present with values. I see your values. You don't have to tell me your values, Lisa. I see them. I see the importance of integrity in the garments that you're wearing and how you're wearing them. The precision of your hair, and I'm dead serious.
I
I'm
like
very
that hair
serious.
precision.
Yes.
Thank you, Katrina.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
fabulous.
okay.
So that's number one. Number two, are you a good storyteller? Because to sell a property, especially in a place like New York City, with such literally storied history and storied future, I need somebody who can tell the story of me, of my home, of the family that lives in the home, and what I want for the future occupants of the home.
Right.
You're a great storyteller. So I would hire you because you're beautiful, you're a great storyteller, and you can get it done.
Okay.
Does it work for you?
That works for me.
Okay, good.
Seal the deal.
Okay, good.
A, B, C.
There you go.
right?
In that
A,
order.
B, C.
Yeah.
Always be closing.
That's it.
So this has been so much fun, and I just want to end on asking you, as an author, as a TV personality with this, successful, incredible show that you're working on, what next for Eboni K. Williams?
This is where it gets good. I was thinking this the other day, as I'm now in my 40s and now I'm a mom and the main thing is continuing to build on what has foundation, right? So not getting complacent. That's one of my biggest fears. Complacency makes
That's
me
never
nervous.
You don't have to worry about that.
I know,
That's
but
never gonna happen.
you never even think about it. Maybe that's my dark side. I
Yeah.
get nervous.
Yeah, it's
so,
never gonna
So
happen. Just trust
continuing
me.
to elevate, right? So with the Judge Show, with the podcast, even with the book, I'm very proud of my most recent book, Bet on Black, but there's another book in there. And figuring out what that is. Is it mothering? Is it parenting in this age? Who knows? We'll see. But continuing to raise the bar and doing so alongside being this little sweet girl's best friend and most important leader. I'm her leader.
Well, and you have to lead by example.
Yeah.
Right. You talk is cheap, so
Sure.
I want my kids to. They're watching us.
Yep.
And so it's definitely a lead by example.
I like that.
Right.
I can show her better than I can tell her.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it is never too late. In fact, my son, which I wasn't very happy about last year, I started tennis.
Okay.
And he's like, because he's a teenager, and for teenagers, anyone over 20 is like,
Oh yeah,
is
for
like
sure.
and he's
Ancient.
like,
Yeah.
but you're buying a new tennis racket, and I'm like, yeah, and he's like, why would you do that? He's like, that's a waste of money.
I
He's
know, he
like,
didn't.
just use mine. So anyway, I'm
Hilarious.
exactly.
And also, whose money?
yeah,
young
right,
man?
exactly. Well,
I'm just kidding.
I'm just preparing you
Love
for having
hon.
a teenager.
Oh
But
yeah.
always learning things that are new because it's like
Yeah.
sharpening the mind, whatever it is. I agree with you.
Actually, to that point, my little one's in a French immersion preschool already, and I don't know French. So I'm actually planning on learning that with her.
Oh, that's
So
fabulous.
that's like, I love that example too.
Je parle, je ne parle, yeah.
Ucha, no. No.
Anyway,
we, bonjour, au revoir. In fact, au revoir, Lisa. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, what a privilege having you
Oh, thank
here.
you.
I thank you so much for spending this time, and you're amazing.
I'm so proud of you.
Keep up all the good things that you're
Thank you,
doing.
Lisa. I'm
Thank
honored
you.
to share your platform.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, we are going to wrap up with some rapid fire, very fun questions.
What do you really need to know about buying or selling a home? First, it's serious business. And it's complicated. There's a lot of money on the table, and emotion too. You need an agent who knows the ropes. So, whether you're buying or selling your home, work with professionals who have a mastery of the craft.
I want to thank my incredible sponsor, The Ultimate Diamond. They're a third generational family, and talk about completing the look. And this actually makes me feel like when I go into a pitch or selling, you know, an ultra luxury apartment, that I am definitely going to. This helps to ensure I'm going to seal the deal.
Oh, my dear, you can't miss with with that rock, and I mean that stunning gold watch and the earrings, which I noticed when I saw you. Total elevation of aesthetic.
Completely.
Fabulous.
That's why blue jeans, you know, changes
Oh,
the
honey,
whole look.
nothing casual about that. It's fabulous.
Okay, let's start. What's your favorite restaurant?
Right now it's Clay, which is actually in my backyard in Harlem.
Oh, really?
They are this close to their Michelin star, best burger in all of New York, and it's absolutely fabulous, family owned, and I just love it. It's fabulous.
Oh, we have to go together.
Yeah, Clay, you would love it, actually.
Okay.
And great artisanal spirits and wine list.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's definitely do that.
Yeah.
How do you decompress?
Oh, goodness, I watch HGTV, and I really do. Special
really
shout
do?
out to House Hunters and My Lottery Dream House.
Really?
If I can, yeah.
Okay. This is always a question that I love. What's your unhealthy vice?
Oh, also forensic files, true crime. I know it probably makes me halfway a sociopath, but forensic files and Snapped and all that true crime stuff.
I know, but you know, it just that makes me think of my own experience with
Yeah.
that, because I've done it for years.
Okay.
And I'm sort of upset I've done it, because once you watch those shows,
I
no
know.
one ever looks the same. I'm
Everybody's
always,
suspicious.
Yeah, it's
Everybody's
like, yeah,
suspicious.
so,
But listen, we're on a high alert. It's a good reason.
what's your dream vacation?
Yes, I've been actually planning this, and I plan to make this dream come true soon. I want to do Tokyo and then add some Bali. So, you know,
great.
so city and exploring all of the awesomeness of Japan, which I've never been to, and then all of the paradise of Bali.
And what's your idea of hell?
Child. Document
Just thought-
review. There's some lawyers that know exactly what I mean when I say that. Also, love you, baby Liberty, my 6-month-old, but her living with me until her 30s.
Okay.
That's a no.
That's not, okay.
No bueno.
I'll definitely help you find her a place.
Honey, yes,
Okay.
I'll run away from
I'm
her.
there for you.
Yeah, I'll leave her there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the last question is, well, there's two last.
Okay.
What is your perfect date?
Yes. So, okay, this actually works because I'm dipping my toe back into dating.
Okay.
Now that I'm
Because I feel like I was
absolutely.
there on a bit of a journey.
Yes, and you
right?
actually sent me a lovely couple of gentlemen callers, and so now we're get the Rolodex back out, Lisa.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, so
though I need to know the new criteria.
And there is new criteria because now that I've had my baby,
Right.
it's a much more relaxed criteria.
So wow,
it's going to
that's
open the
huge.
pool up now.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk after
Okay,
the show.
we're gonna yeah.
Okay, so dream date, I want it to be a mix of fun and glamour, like, you know, wine and dine.
Okay.
So maybe like a Knicks game. You know, I actually love pro sports, but only to watch. I can't play anything.
The seats matter.
Honey, yes.
No
we're not gonna have, honey. He's not gonna have a good time with me if we're in the nosebleeds.
Okay.
So,
Just checking, okay.
some well-appointed seats at the Knicks game specifically, and then after some nice bites, some cocktails, maybe Nobu, something like that.
Wow. Okay. Good.
Simple,
Okay.
basic. Yeah.
Okay. Again, great to have you.
Thank
We're
you,
definitely
Lisa.
going to Clay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll love it. Yeah.
Okay.